The warm glow of the bookstore cast a golden hue over the shelves as Jake reached for a copy of Pride and Prejudice, only to find his hand brushing against someone else's. Emily smiled, her blue eyes lighting up with curiosity. "Great taste," she teased. That small moment, an innocent touch over a well-loved book, was the beginning of a story far greater than either of them could have imagined. Under a canopy of twinkling lights, Jake gently slipped the ring onto Emily's finger, his hand steady despite the overwhelming emotion in his heart. The cool evening air carried the soft whispers of their vows, promises made for a lifetime. As they sealed it with a kiss, their friends and family cheered. But for Jake and Emily, the world had melted away, leaving only the two of them, forever intertwined. Sitting at their tiny dining table, Jake ran a hand through his hair, frustration clear in his expression as bills piled up before him. Emily placed a steaming cup of coffee beside him and wrapped an arm around his shoulders. In the quiet hum of the hospital room, Emily cradled their newborn daughter, Lily, against her chest. Jake sat beside her, awestruck. "She's perfect," he whispered, brushing a gentle finger over her tiny hand. The moment was fragile, sacred, a new chapter in their love story. As Emily leaned into him, exhausted but content, Jake knew his heart had expanded in ways he never thought possible. The scent of home-cooked food filled the air as laughter rang around the dinner table. Little Lily giggled, her tiny hands waving as she told a story in excited bursts. Jake and Emily exchanged knowing smiles, the kind of silent communication that only years of love could create. Their Friday night tradition wasn't about the food or the table setting. It was about this: being together, sharing life, and making memories, one meal at a time. The sun hung low over the horizon as their camper van rumbled down an open highway. Emily leaned out of the window, her blonde hair catching the wind as she laughed freely. Jake stole a glance at her, his heart swelling with the same love he had felt the first day they met. Life wasn't about the destination, he realized. It was about these moments, the one spent chasing sunsets with the love of his life. Sitting on their porch, Jake and Emily held hands, their fingers interlaced just as they had been on their wedding day. The sky stretched out before them in a breathtaking array of orange and pink. 50 years, Jake murmured. Emily rested her head on his shoulder, sighing in contentment. "And I'd still choose you, every single time." The sun dipped below the horizon, but their love continued to shine brightly. The soft melody of their wedding song filled the air as Jake took Emily's hand once more, leading her in a slow dance under a canopy of fairy lights. Their guests watched with admiration, but for Jake and Emily, it was as if they were 20 again, lost in the magic of their love. "We made it," Emily whispered. Jake smiled, pulling her closer. "And I wouldn't change a single." Golden leaves swirled around them as they sat on their porch, an old scrapbook resting between them. Emily traced the edges of a photograph from their wedding day, while Jake chuckled at a picture of their first road trip. "We had no idea what we were doing," he said, shaking his head. Emily nudged him playfully. "But we figured it out together." With every photo, they relived the love story that had shaped their lives. The bedroom was dimly lit, a soft glow from the bedside lamp casting warmth over the room. Jake and Emily lay side by side, hands intertwined, their breaths slow and steady. Decades had passed, seasons had changed, but their love had remained constant. "You were my greatest adventure," Jake murmured. Emily squeezed his hand, a faint smile on her lips. "And you were my home." As they closed their eyes, wrapped in love and peace, their story lived on forever.